Good morning, everyone. Today is August 13th. It is Thursday. This is Brad Matheny. We're looking at the SPX 500 chart. I continue to believe that we are moving into a broader upward trend. Now, right now the markets are slightly higher. It shows SPX 500 up 0.24%. It doesn't look like it on this chart. Looks like it's barely above yesterday's close. But again, we are melting upward after completing this flag. You can see the up, down, up, the A, B, C, D, E movement. We could get some volatility out here. I believe we're looking at a breakaway phase, but we'll see how it plays out. Today's cycle pattern is a Harami line in bullish congestion. We're looking for a breakaway. I'm looking for a breakaway. I'm really looking for something to rally up above this last peak, pause, and then rally up above higher. So I'm really looking for a pretty big move here in the SPY. Now, I do believe that today and tomorrow and Monday, we could get Sunday, Monday, could get a pretty good breakaway. So I may be repositioning some of my options while I have some expiration in them and some value to carry a little bit longer out into next week. My call options, some of them are playing out nicely. The XLF position was up 40%, and I believe my SOXL position was up SOXL. Yeah, because I bought back over here on Monday, and we had that big gap. Sorry, Monday here, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sorry, this is Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I bought here, and we had a big gap up. Nice to see if we can get a rally today. We'll see. But I think we're looking at some a longer term kind of a melt up trend, which is what I believe is going to take place in the markets based on this flagging formation. So again, this flagging formation is a pretty clear indication that we've rallied through this big flagpole, let's call it, this advance into a flag formation. In theory, we should get, just like I highlighted in yesterday's chart, a rally up into this area. So we should get a move up into the, 819, 820, 830 into this area as a next phase rally for the SPY. Okay, we'll move to gold and silver. I readjusted the gold and silver flags this morning, actually last night, based on this activity. We haven't seen any big pullback into this support level, this defense level. We're moving into what looks like an upward sloping pennant formation. And if I am correct, you can see that we've already had the A, B, C, D move. So the E move would likely be a breakaway. Same thing here. A, B, C, D, potential E breakaway move. So metals could be moving into a very aggressive type of a rally phase here. And we're looking at a gap potential in the gold patterns, and we're in bullish trending. So given where we're at here, given where we have this rotation, we could be looking at a gap potential move, trying to potentially break out. So in the long run, I want you to understand that this looks very positive for gold and silver. If my count is correct, we could be getting into a very solid breakaway move in metals. And as I mentioned to you through the weekend, we're moving into this gap potential. Then we get a breakdown pattern, Harami, breakaway, counter trend pop, blank, top resistance. So I think we're moving into some kind of a breakaway move here, which means we could see a very aggressive rally in both gold and silver over the next 7, 10, 15 days. Could be a good move to potentially get into some XME. You can see XME is stalled out after this big rally, pulled back. This might be a pretty good move off lows today or tomorrow on XME or SILJ or GDX. Same type of scenario here, pushing slightly higher. And GDX, same setup. Gap, gap. These are very big moves. So again, pay attention. If this gets into a big rally phase, we could get a nice big breakaway move in the miners just as well as we get in with the metals. Okay, Bitcoin is a solid roll. This is 4 hour. Let me come up to daily. Is rolling slightly downward. Let me come over here to my regular chart. Here's the Bitcoin, still struggling in that consolidation range, like I suggested. Really, toughing it out right now. Bitcoin cycle pattern is a blank pattern. Again, stalling, move back into bearish trending. So we're going to probably see this stall out through this consolidation. If I were to highlight my range expectations, it'd probably be right around here, coming down across here, just pretty much stalling in this channel until we get into a breakaway phase. Now, if I were to try to tell you where the breakaway phase is, it looks like maybe out around the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, maybe out in this area, we get into a breakaway. So we've got about another week of sideways trending here. I think we're going to stay very consolidated moving into this sideways trend. And we'll come back over here to the SPX 500 so you can see my drawings. We're moving slightly higher, like I said, pushing just a little bit higher here. And again, that last chart, I guess, was a 4 hour. And I believe we're going to be trying to break away potentially to the upside. So again, repositioning your options for longer term might be a smart move. Rolling out of whatever you have now and picking up something that expires end of next week or the following week might be a very smart move for this breakaway. Lastly, we'll go to UNG, 1020, building a little base. It's opening down a little bit today, still basing, not really breaking away. I will tell you that if we get back down in this lower channel again below 10, I will be looking to be an active buyer again. Maybe not huge numbers, but they're pretty cheap, 70 to 100 bucks. And I think we caught for long term, and I think we're ready for a pretty good rally phase here. We'll see. Okay, so where we're at with the markets. Markets are really pending a big breakaway move, just like I showed you. In theory, we should be moving from this stage about equal to this move here. So if we just copy this and move this up here, you're talking about 8,200, 8,300 up in the S&P SPX, and that puts us at a target area up in this area. Now that is again about a 6% move, 5.5 to 6% move to the upside. Let me figure out the points again. So roughly from here to here, about 400 points. So about 43 points on the S&P. We're looking at a fairly solid melt up here, guys. So again, I'm bullish. My data says it's bullish. Markets tend to want to melt up. I think we're going to be melting up into a very broad trend through the end of this year, just like I suggested, moving up into that 940, 950 area. And I think I had a chart, right here, showing you exactly what's happening. So the next move here is up to approximately 8,200, 8,300, and then moving back down into about the 780, 7,890, 7,800 area. Then a rally possibly up into the 8,900, 8,950 area. Then a pullback down here to 8,400, 8,500. Then a rally up to 9,004, 9,005. So you can see this rally very cleanly rolling through a rally phase, pullback, rally phase, pullback, rally. Very cleanly, in my opinion, completing this expansion upward. Okay, so today we are looking at a potential rally phase, kind of a stealth melt up. I think we're going to be looking at more of a extension of this rally upward. This is the SPX 500. You can see that we're trying right now to break away, and I would suggest that we're going to try to move into a solid melt up into next week. So again, repositioning might be the smart thing to do, at least for me. I have options that are expiring on Friday and Monday, and some later. So I'm probably going to reposition now that we're getting into this moderate rally phase. We'll see what happens today. Okay, guys, let's go get some today, and we'll talk to you soon.